Hi, I'm Tony Sage. I'm a dev, and this is Sage Dev. Full disclosure, I got to seeing clean working data on the page and decided that I was going to put some work in today. So I've put together some of the last remaining features and we're moving forward. This is the semi-finished product. There's still some tweaking we need to do. We need to look at ADA compliance and make sure that all meets standards, and we can do some of that in this video. But I wanted to walk you through what we've got after our last change. So we've been working in Fable just because it's the newest, hottest thing, and I have a limited amount of time that I can leverage it. So while we've had Fable, I've been working in Fable and have maxed out my tokens twice. So we're doing a lot of good work here. Things that I've done. The last thing I did, trying to remember the order of operations here. We had set up the truck detail page in the last video. So I'm going to go through quickly what I did in our AI development and what the output is on the page at this point. So first we set up Street Bytes app with GPS coordinates, and it's included in the browser. If they don't approve, then add a component to the home page so that they can enter a zip code or street city address. This is not perfect for my local testing because of some other security things in here. But basically what we did based on that prompt is set up so that in the map and in our user profile, we have a designated lat long established. And if I wanted to get to Los Angeles, if I can actually spell, it would just take us there. If we have it in the browser and we've allowed it, so this one says it's continuing to allow, so there's something going on that my local's not letting it happen. Let's see if it happens in incognito allow. I'll get into that cookies in a minute. But when you allow it, that should not display, and it should automatically center you on your current location. That is new and was working until I started recording, and now it's not. So we'll have to potentially bug fix that. Other things that we introduced, you already saw, I have a cookie banner. So this is a little bit overkill. Let me pull up the prompt in case you're curious. I said I want to implement a custom cookie consent banner that matches our style guide. All these issues need to be addressed. And I took a bunch of GDPR regulations, generic regulations, and dropped them in here. And I said, okay, go. And what it's done is stood me up a new cookie banner. For cookies, it needs to store that you have accepted the cookies and say whether or not you've declined them in the future before it stores cookies. This is overkill for us because all we're really using this for right now is tracking your authentication, which is a required cookie. But if in the future we wanted to pivot and we wanted to use some analytics tracking, we wanted to use GTM, we wanted to use some of these powerful tools, full story, whatever, to productionalize this, it would be a simple matter for us to tweak this just a little bit and have it allow you to deny non-essential cookies, which is the one thing we're missing from here. But this is not leveraging some third party. This is all custom. So we've accepted the cookies, and now it has this little cookie click here. So part of the rules are once you've said we accept cookies, you should be able to come in and delete them. You should be able to say no more cookies. It'll remove them from the site, and it'll then take you back to this unauthenticated state at the home page. That's where we are. But that was the second prompt and all the stuff around it, linting and docs. Okay. I set up a brand new logo and an icon. I've got those somewhere in here. Let me just open the Finder. So I have a logo and an icon PNG. I generated these with Gemini. I said, based on this design and what you already know from my prep, create me a logo so that I can use it on the app. And this is what it came up with. When I dropped them into the chat, actually when I ran this prompt and said I want to convert them to vector icon for the icon file, formatted logo image, and help me set those up, it went out and grabbed for me some tools in, I think it used a brew tool. Yeah, it got Trace, which sets vector graphics, vector tracer as well, and it was digging out what it was going to use and then downloaded them for me. So it got through Homebrew, it checked that I had Python, it went and got Trace, Image Magic, and vTracer, and did that work so that I don't have to go through a image editor, I don't have to go through anything else. It just processed them for me and set these. It also added them into the actual code base after we established them. It didn't ask for me and said, do you want to implement it? And I said yes, and it dropped it in. So now we have in our nav here a little icon. It's also sharing for Apple Android, so if somebody was going to create a shortcut on their desktop, that would also happen pretty painlessly. So I implemented that. I wanted to add this truck is now open message. This is intentional and useful because if someone is using this, if this does blow up, I don't think it will, and people are using it at a wider level, we would want to be able to see, okay, what trucks are actually live and working right now and which ones aren't, and that is a simple indicator for that. I also set it up so that when you're authenticated, let me see, I'm already authenticated here, and you have a food truck, you can click this Now Open button. Now Open will immediately set your current time zone time into the database and say I'm open instead of you having to fill it out. If you wanted to put a closing time, you can still do that using this drop menu. I don't think that's going to be utilized over much. I believe that this is probably where most common users would be entering their data. We have a set my location. This one's already set, but when you have your GPS enabled and working, which your phone should be much more straightforward than my Mac is today. I probably just need to reset my Mac. But when you have that set and you click set location, it'll take your current GPS location and turn that pin to that location. So the idea is to force truck users to drive traffic to this site. If they're setting that pin, we don't want them to set it in advance and say, well, this is where I'm going to be 3 days from now. We want them to go in and actually do it live in the browser. So that was my thought process. We also have updated some of this logic so that, like, if I'm setting my location and I don't have my GPS open, it'll give me a zip code region form and I can enter it and it'll pin it as a workaround. You'll see my navigations changed, and part of the reason for that is that we populated some of our other pages in here. So we have truck favorites, which is these stars. I know that if I had a client, the client would say that thing is taking too much real estate and is not good on top of the image. Images are high value. But this is ADA compliant. The image on the white background and the wide click size is meeting our ADA requirements. So in order to keep it as ADA compliant as possible, we don't just want to have a tiny little star in the corner that no one can see, and when you try to click it on your phone, it's a giant pain in the butt and my fat fingers can't get there. We want to have something nice and big that someone could click easily and turn them on and off. But with this functionality, we've set it so you can favorite it, you can unfavorite it, and we have a favorites page, which is basically the same as the home page, but it limits the results to your favorite trucks. So right now it's showing my favorite trucks are like Taco Libre up in North Kansas City, Smoking Wheels, and theoretically, your trucks could be all over town. And that's part of the reason for this app is, I'm here somewhere and I want to see where my truck is. Well, maybe my truck is way up in Riverside or out by the airport, or it's up in Platte City or something. That's all Kansas City talk. You can ignore that if you're not from around here. But this gives me more context. So I can see these are the ones that are my favorite trucks, as opposed to the homepage where it has potentially every truck in the area. And if this did get a lot of use, I don't think it will, but if it did get a lot of use, you could see this being an issue where the most popular truck is in, I don't know, Dallas, and it shows up and it's open, and when you click to it, it goes, I don't want to go to Dallas. I want to be here. And we could change that logic in the future as well. But right now, that's kind of where it sits. With that said, now that we have all of this expanded map functionality and we have the map on the actual truck page demonstrating where it is, I decided having another map page on top of all of those other maps just is not a value add. I don't really want to do that. But you can see, like, we added another favorites here, so I want it. This is my truck. You can tell because when I manually author things, I do stupid stuff like add a dolphin, and my menu item is a dolphin burger made from real dolphin. Not really. Anyway, if I want to favorite it, it's now marked as favorited, and when I go check it on the database, it'll say that it has another favorite. And the more favorites that it has, the higher it will promote in our popular near you trucks. I did change the sort order of these two. I think I mentioned that, but just to repeat myself, I changed the sort order here and in the actual filtered list so that anything that's open comes first and then anything else will populate underneath it. And the more people have favorited this truck, the higher it is in the results, and it'll shift over to the left. I also updated our database seeders to reflect that. So it'll actually, along with setting the trucks and users, it'll give it a favorited by, and it'll say, okay, we have favorited by 15 people or something. And that will change how it promotes on there. And all of these are also set into Pint and our other tests. On top of that, I adjusted the zoom. In a previous video, we turned the zoom off because I didn't love the results. I don't like the styling of these plus and minus, but it's just too useful, and people are so accustomed to it that to not have it feels like a disservice. So we added that back in. We also changed how it zooms so that if you go to some page and you see it on the map, it's much closer. This gets me a better ballpark of where it actually is. And with the zoom on the regular page, you can get a gauge of how far away these trucks are in general. Maybe there's a ton of them at some event, like right now FIFA World Cup is going on in Kansas City. Maybe they're all downtown. You could get that information better by using the zoom than not having it. But if I wanted to see where this individual truck was, it would just give me one spot. The zoom's not really critically essential here. So other things, search bar is working. So it was a pretty straightforward prompt for this. Actually, if you look, I just said I want to make it functional. When a user enters a name of a truck, we want to display the related trucks. If they search for burgers because of these labels, the tags, those would also come up. I also said it would be nice to have if it drove some search functionality from the menu items. So I gave that as a prompt, and now when I type in burger, it's going to give me the truck with the name of burger in it. It's going to give me anything that serves a burger as a menu item, and it'll give me anything that has that taxonomy, which works pretty well. If I do click the search icon, it'll drive me to a search results page, which is just the same data displayed in those cards. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. The reason that I didn't go through all of this in a live dev like I have in the past is because these aren't that interesting to me. To me, what's interesting is standing up framework, design, technical architecture. These are very much just I enter a prompt and let it run. Like you can see, I entered one prompt for the search. It ran through it. It added the files. Like there, it added a test in the pint. It went through all the linters, and then it's done. Then I updated the docs. All of these have been very much like that. There's not been any planning. There's not been any back and forth. So I figured it wasn't really worth the time to do this in a live dev. What does that mean? So we are fairly dev complete. We need to start looking at our compliance with the WCAG, and how do we do that? There's several tools to use. I already demonstrated this once, so we'll just run through it really quick. This is Wave. You can get Wave from the Chrome extensions marketplace. You can get it through different places as well. But we have here, it says there's no errors in contrast, there's no errors in anything else. I think that's funny that it's giving this like pulsing thing along with my dot. That's silly. But it also highlights the other ADA compliance bits. So we have 140 ARIA labels. If we do scroll down here, it'll tell me all of those ARIA labels if I want to see them. They're not that special to look at. It just says this is the primary label. This is the page. If I adjust this down, it'll also accommodate that. All of my alt texts are in place. So any image should have a title related to that image. In this case, the title of the truck is also labeling the image because they're mostly one-to-one. Other things to look for, what are you? Redundant. I don't really care if the home page is redundant. Let's have 50 links to the home page for all I care. But the reason this is redundant is because we also have a home link down here. And if you click the main nav, that also would take you to the home page. And I'm comfortable with that. We're not really violating anything there. And we have all of our ARIA labels, and the buttons are all set. All of our H1, H2 structure is set. So I have one predominant H1 to declare this is the page. And then H2 would be subsections and H3s would be nested. So those have all lined out properly. Let's just give it a quick poke around and see if there's anywhere in here that looks like it's a major violation. So I don't see any issues with the truck detail page. I know the home is fine. Let me go to the profile page. I don't see any issues with the profile page. We're pretty good about that. The lists are marked as lists. And then the favorites page, which is pretty close to the other one, so it should be fine too. Yeah. So no errors were detected. There's also compliance that you would do around keyboard testing and things. So we can walk through that a little bit just for fun. VoiceOver is generally recommended. Control F5.
Accessibility shortcuts.
And we want
use the tab
VoiceOver.
checked.
Welcome to VoiceOver. VoiceOver speaks descriptions of items on the screen and can be used to control the computer using only your keyboard. If you already know how to use VoiceOver, press.
Okay.
Voice Street Eats near you. You are currently on a banner inside of web content.
So this is purpose-built for keyboard navigation for people that are visually impaired to navigate.
Street Bytes, toolbar item palette.
So pretend the mouse doesn't exist, and we're going to tab
Search button, search button. You tab overview button, search button, search food trucks, search text field.
That's
You main popular trucks region. You are currently on a region. Heading level 2 link B link W O S D F heading level 3 Soul Bowl image. Soul Bowl image. Search food truck search food main popular truck heading level 2 N now open
I don't
heading
like the
level 3
keyboard
my
nav
food
on
truck.
this.
You are currently on a heading level 3. Link K, link F, I. You are currently on a selectable text
if you're-
inside of a link.
Okay, enough noise for a second. If you're good at this, there's tools you can use to get in and out of a specific thing. So right now it's got me down to the granular level where it's getting inside and reading me the text. So if I have some text that's weirdly formatted or some letters or something that are bizarre, it will go into the actual text and give you individual letters. If you push
Heading level 3 my food truck. You are currently on a heading level 3.
if you navigate this with tab or with keyboard,
My food truck image.
it
You are currently on an image. To begin interacting with the contents of this image, press Ctrl, Option, Shift, down arrow. Heading level 3
Okay.
Y.
We're
You are
not-
currently on a heading level 3.
Cool. We are not going to continue this because I might lose my mind. But,
My food. Now open. Heading level truck link font now.
so
You are currently on a selectable text inside of a link.
the things that we're looking for is, as a keyboard user, with this tool on, can we effectively navigate the site? The answer is yes. The
All
tabs-
selected. Toggle button. Cuisine filters. Group. You are currently on a toggle button. To select or deselect this checkbox, press Ctrl, Option, Space.
Okay, so we can navigate through each section and each header. If you're good at this tool, you can jump directly to headers. It can give you the headers specifically on a page. This is a skill in and of itself. So if you do need to test for ADA compliance for some government affiliate or something to avoid legal problems, that's something that is usually best handled by an expert. But if you want to see that it is indeed ADA compliant, you could use a tool like this to do it. I think if I do any more, I might lose my mind.
Asian,
So-
toggle button. You are currently on a toggle button. To select Asian. Selected.
But you see how
Barbecue,
I'm
selected.
highlighting
You are
all-
currently on a toggle button. To select or deselect this checkbox, press Ctrl, Option, Space.
It's just good content. If I hold different buttons and navigate, it does different things. So I'm holding Option and down, and it'll select more context that's relative to that term. There's also ways that you can use things like Shift to go from section to section or from header to header. It's once you're good at it, it's very straightforward. But all we're looking for is, can you jump from tag to tag with a tab key? So I'm going to disable that before I
Universal access
have a-
accessibility VoiceOver off.
have an anxiety attack. We're going to get rid of that. Live demo. More importantly, my keyboard navigation is functional. I can get in the map. I can scroll in the map with the keyboard. I can get from different tag to tag in the keyboard, in the map, and it continues to scroll, which is very good. There we go. So it is getting to them if I just tab to death. All the favorites are highlighting, all the cards are highlighting with the find nows, and my home favorites profile are also doing it, and then that cookie. So I was mostly concerned about the home page. It might be good to look at the form just while we're in here. So I can get to those links to get to the truck, or I can get to the favorited flag. In here, if you uncheck it and reload the page, it is no longer your favorite, just so you know. Food trucks, I can get to the food truck. I can make my edits. Add a menu item, remove an image, add a new image. Delete my truck, save changes. Did I get to save changes? Yes, I did. Okay. That's enough of that. My God. Chromevox was not as rough as that was. What's it called? VoiceOver. Ugh. Okay. Well, after that mess, I can say with the level of confidence that we are meeting accessibility guideline standards. And if you actually look at Wave, it'll give me some more context there. So right now, oh, it already, yeah, here we go. If I go to contrast, for example, it'll say, okay, I'm at WCAG AAA pass. And if I wanted to pick a color, so I have like this red, which there's a color picker, so I can just grab a color. And the white, and it is there. Right now, text size being normal, that would pass WCAG AA, which is most of, and I'm actually doing this backwards. I would want white on a red background. Same. So it will come in as a AA pass, which is all we're looking for. To meet AAA requirements is a big thing and a massive undertaking, and most designers don't like that. So we're not going to worry about that. So there's our ADA compliance testing and our terrible VoiceOver experience. That's not Chromevox. Those are things that you need to keep in mind when you're going through this, just as much as anything else. And if you want to have a high quality product, those need to meet standards. If they don't, you need to tell the client in exacting detail why they didn't meet standards. We're pretty much done. I have my menu and all of that. I'm going to need to put some about link here and populate it with my junk about me. I don't love this white space either. That's where we had the map, but I figured that the map is not really necessary anymore with all the maps that we've already got highlighted on this. If we look at our original plan, we were also talking about queues. So you could say how many people are in line for this. And to be honest, I don't see that as a viable thing that people are going to engage with. In my mind, you want to find a food truck, you find it on the map, you go to where it is. I don't see why you would have the map or the app open after that point. So, I don't know how you would establish that. I guess the people that are running the truck could open it up and say, hey, I've got 20 customers. But if you've got 20 customers, you're a little busy to be on your phone. Anyway, I think we're pretty darn close. Next time I want to talk about planning how we're going to deploy this. I want to talk about GitHub Actions, maybe set up some Playwright automated testing scripts. I want to talk about how we're going to migrate this out to AWS and what that landing on AWS is going to look like. Lots of good things in the future, but there is Street Bytes, mostly complete. So there you go. Thank you for watching, sticking with me. If you want to download it and play with it, you should go to GitHub and just copy it, clone it, and run it, because it should be functional. If you have any issues, you want to talk about some of this stuff in detail, just leave a note in the comments or reach out on LinkedIn, say hey. And thank you very much. I'm Tony, and have a great day.